backstage at the Lowlands Festival with part of the band Shame.
Hello there.
Welcome.
Hi.
I would like to talk to you about something that obviously must be confronting you all the time since you're from Great Britain, and we've been hearing a lot of it about how especially new bands are having a hard time touring due to Brexit. Can you tell me what it's like to tour these days? Are there extra obstacles? Is it harder? What are the things you come across which you didn't have beforehand?
So the things we're coming across that we didn't have beforehand, it's mainly just very tedious bureaucratic things. So it's so boring, but there's this thing we have to do called a carnet now, which is a document with all of the equipment you're bringing in and out of the European Union, which you never had to do before. And it's very expensive. So for us at the moment, I suppose we're in the lucky position of having already been able to tour Europe freely, having been able to establish ourselves to some extent. So for us, it's kind of just an inconvenience, if anything, at this stage. But I think the real problem lies in newer artists, and touring Europe has just become basically an unaffordable pipe dream for a lot of people.
It's a lot more than a nuisance.
It's a lot more than a nuisance for them. It's a nuisance for us because, as I said, we were lucky to have been able to, take advantage of freedom of movement, which seems crazy that I'm even saying that. But it's for new and upcoming artists, having to go through the legal bureaucratic red tape and the cost involved in that is just absolutely insane. We're not allowed to spend more than 90 days in Europe without getting a visa or going back.
Okay.
So
for a longer period of time for touring, that could be.
It becomes very expensive, or you just have to go back and then come back. It's absolutely.
Which is also expensive.
It's also expensive.
It's so expensive.
So I think for us, everything takes a lot longer. Everything requires a lot more planning. And I think in a more to sum it up, it just feels quite sad, really, with this, the continent that we previously, shared a union with. We feel like a far greater distance from it now, which is a shame. It's just, we're increasingly isolated, and
But every now and then, I like Enemy or something like that, I will read something about bigger artists sending in open letters to the government, and and then every now and then also something in the stretch of they're open to listen and they're willing to change things and make it easier. But has this come into flesh already?
Not at all. No, it's been there's been enormous outcry from the bottom to the top, really, to give some kind of exemption for this exact circumstance. Music is arguably our biggest cultural export, and for the government to intentionally make it incredibly difficult for British music to reach overseas is just insane. And no, there's been so far no intent or action from the government to make things remotely easier.
I'm sure deals were cut behind closed doors, but
sure.
This industry feels like it's just been ignored and just sort of like, I don't know, disregarded.
There's nothing so far that's been discussed further than just petitions and open letters from people like Elton John. But at the moment it feels very low down on the list of priorities for the government at the moment. So
it's funny you mentioned Elton John. He was one of my next questions. I've read about this running gag within the band that pops up at the end of Station Wagon.
It was like I just heard a story about Elton John, and he was so sort of, when he was on it, he was so sort of like cracked up. And he was in his hotel room. Huh?
Have you read his biography?
No, I haven't.
Well,
but I heard,
there are a lot of moments like that.
He was so cracked up that he ran into the balcony and asked his PA, personal assistant, to move that cloud because it was getting in the way of the sunlight. And I just thought, I think that was just sort of like an incredibly amazing thing to do.
So the absurdity of it. Come on, Nelson.
Yeah.
If anyone should be able to move the government in the
Elton John, the man who famously thought he could move a cloud.
Yeah.
Have you heard? We just spoke to Yard Act. They're on here as well. They actually recorded a duet with Elton John.
I saw that.
Very cool. What an opportunity.
Who would be on your list?
Oh, I don't know.
The great British or whatever country
I
from
don't know
icons?
I don't know.
Would you want it?
I feel like there's a lot of pressure that comes with collaborating with someone like of that stature. You know, I don't know if I can handle that.
Yeah.
If someone asked me to collaborate with Elton John, I'd probably be more scared than excited. You know.
Yeah.
So fair play to them, to the Yard Act guys for doing that. That's commendable. I don't know who. Anyone? No one's really jumping to mind for me here.
No, not really. Like, I don't know. I think there are lots of amazing bands at the moment, but in this industry, it is. Yeah, this feels like in sort of certain types of music, like rap and stuff. There's a lot of collabs, but when it comes to this type of music, it's harder maybe to think about who you'd have. But I'm sure we'd welcome anyone. We just
I mean, we've never been asked.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
They're open.
This is an open invitation
Yeah.
if you'd like to collaborate with us.
Please do. But I could also imagine maybe someone like Elton or whatever, when he see you guys perform live, that they'll be scared. I mean, there's a lot of energy for a Shame concert.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it depends how much sleep we've had the night before, how long we've been working.
Yeah, man.
I don't mean in that way.
That's what it sounded like.
I don't
With
mean
that
in
in
that
mind,
way.
what are we into? What are we in for today?
I mean it in the boring carnet, stamping, queuing at airport way.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
The Brexit nights.
Yeah, the Brexit
The
sleep.
sleepless nights of Brexit and fucking customs documents. That's what keeps us up at night these days.
We've had a
Things have changed.
things have changed. We've had a really good weekend, and I don't know, we haven't been back to this festival in a long time, so I think we're going to be playing a lot of new songs. We just finished recording our 3rd album.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh, there's something new.
You got the
Yeah.
hot scoop, KINK.
Oh
Signed,
wow!
sealed, and
Okay.
delivered. On its way to the Netherlands.
Yes. So we've been playing new song. We started writing it in January, went in to record it on May the 1st. And we've been playing new songs from it all the way through the year, which is sort of going back to the way we almost wrote our first album, Songs of Praise. And so we'll be playing like 4 or 5 maybe new ones, I don't know.
Okay.
But
So how far along? Let me recoup here. Is it finished?
yeah,
It's done.
It's all
Recorded,
done.
mixed, and mastered.
artwork.
Ready to
It's-
go.
There's really literally nothing to be done anymore.
No.
Whenever
No,
you say
music videos
publish,
and press.
Ah well.
Yeah, all
yeah.
that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but it's done. We kept it pretty quiet, I
Oh
suppose.
wow.
Yeah.
So is there a tentative date for release?
We'll tell you early
classified
next year.
information at this
Early
stage.
next year it'll
Okay.
be out.
So that'll be the album release date. So the first single, let's say October, November, maybe.
You may think that, but I couldn't possibly comment.
No. Let me think some more out loud.
Sure.
We're putting it out in an hour.
Here you go. You're aiming for the Christmas #1.
Yeah.
We're always aiming for the Christmas #1.
always with the winter albums, but this
Fuck
one's
you,
gonna be.
Bublé.
Oh no, yeah.
So what can you tell about the album? It's more like the first album you said.
It's
in
kind of
which
like a
way?
baby of both. It sort of sounds like it's got the sort of like, I think it's very melodic, and we recorded it live, which we've never done before.
Oh wow.
We worked with a guy called Flood.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Big boy producer Flood.
I know.
Yeah.
It was
Sounds great.
It was great to work with them.
How did you meet up?
These people just tend to find us. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sort of have to open the front door kind
Yeah.
of thing. One of them.
And he was
lying
like,
there.
please, and we were like, fine. God,
All right,
yes, you can do the record.
Then bugger off.
No, I'm not entirely sure how.
I think
how
our
we-
manager, one of our managers, Paul,
Yeah.
got in touch.
But yeah, it was great to work with him. You can really sort of feel the history of everything he's done.
I mean, he
Mainly because the studio is just covered with platinum records everywhere you look.
He agreed to do the album as well, like full on signed up, locked in the date, without listening to any of the
He didn't
songs.
listen to a single demo.
We
He was
had
like,
all the demos, and he was just like, "No, I just want to do it." We were like, "You haven't heard any songs?" He was like, "No."
Wow.
Yeah.
So working with anyone, but in this particular case, Flood, does that do something to the dynamic of the band, or
It was very hard.
It was very
Was it,
difficult,
yeah?
but I think it definitely made us individually want to become maybe better players, because I mean that guy is going to dissect everything you do in the most knowledgeable way possible. So there was something for me personally, I guess there was something quite exposing about that, and you really start to think about everything you're doing in a good way, because it makes you better at your job.
We've never thought about songs more than we did in that process, and it was like Flood's sort of ideology is you try everything you try every variation even if it comes full circle and you just play it how you were playing it originally, at least you've tried all of them. That's quite tiring.
So you got the best version of what's possible.
A lot of late nights were involved.
I do remember.
So energy
So like
drinks.
you said, this is the first time you recorded it live as a band.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, or at least this album is recorded
This
live.
album is the first time we've done live as a band, yeah.
I remember Flood doing the production of an early Crowded House album where he split up the band, meaning that the drummer was in the basement and he put everyone in a different room in this strange villa. I think it was overlooking the New Zealand coast, whatever. So
Sounds about right.
but that's quite the opposite, like he did with
Yeah.
you guys.
But I think
He's fucking mental.
The desire to record it live
That came from you, or?
That came from us,
Okay.
yeah. I think we were very keen to try that out because everything we'd done prior had been quite separated, and there's an essence that you can only capture live. So
Yeah.
went for it.
It changes, it changes the way you sort of play. Like there's one song in particular where we would always play it quite slow. It was sort of, and then we were in the room and you're just doing take after take after take after take after take. And then we come in and we listen back to them, and then one random one which was actually too fast but sounded great, and the song sounds better at that speed. That's the kind of like happy mistake that you're only gonna find if you're playing live.
Again and
Because
again,
previously
yeah.
you just work out the BPM
Yeah,
and then
there
you do
you
it
go.
to a click.
Yeah.
So this way you can actually sort of like, it's more natural, obviously.
Wow, this is exciting news, guys.
I know.
So can you share a title, maybe? I mean,
No,
we're
absolutely
amongst
not.
friends here.
We are not.
With the camera fella. So
I can see him.
no.
No, we can't.
He's Netflixing.
Yeah.
He's not part of the team.
No, we can't. We're not going to share that at this stage. But all will be revealed. Patience.
All right. Early next year, new album by Shame.
Sure.
Based on the amount of sleep you had, whether by rock and roll or Brexit,
Brexit.
Yeah.
the show today will be
Very good.
That's all. Yeah.
as
Very
you
good.
do.
Thank you very
As
much.
you do. Thank you so much.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you, mate.